Welcome to this week's science class. Last week I had you just watch a Magic School Bus. You're welcome. What an easy way to finish our structures unit. Today we're starting a new unit. I was going to let you guess what our new unit is, but you've probably already all looked at the sheet that tells you our schedule for the week. So you know that we're going to start learning about soil. I don't know if you guys are excited about this, but I actually love this unit. I love learning about soil. In my spare time, I'm, not the coolest person. I actually love reading books about soil. It's really fascinating and interesting stuff, and it tells us a lot about how healthy our planet is. Are we doing a good job protecting the earth that God has given us? Or are we not really doing a good job? And so much of that comes back to what our soil is like. So today, we're gonna start just by talking about what soil is made up of and sort of what it looks like if we were to cut a chunk out of the ground and we could see soil going down into the earth, what we would see, all right? So there are layers in our soil. We're gonna look at 4 main layers. If you end up studying soil as a student in a university, you're gonna learn a lot more detail, and they have many more layers that they like to talk about. We are gonna focus on 4 layers, okay? So you have your sheet. It looks like this one. So have this sheet out. We are going to fill in these 4 different layers, the labels, and then I'm going to give you a very short definition. It's going to be printed out on the bottom of your screen so you can copy it down also on your sheet. The beauty of doing this online with a video is that you can pause it to write down your definition and then listen to what I'm saying, okay? So don't worry about how fast you're writing, or if you're listening to what I'm saying instead of writing it down, that's ideal, but let's go. All right, the very first top layer of soil is called humus. Now let's talk for a second. This word is humus, not hummus, all right? The first layer of soil, as you know, is not a layer of like a chickpea garlic dip that you'd like to dip pita chips in. Ew, that would be disgusting if that's what we walked on. That's not the word. It's not hummus. It's humus, and humus is dead stuff. Yeah, so the soil unit, guys, we are gonna talk a lot about dead things and poop, because when it comes down to it, healthy soil is filled with dead things and poop. That's what we want. That's actually a really good thing. So what kind of dead things would make up humus? Well, why don't you glance out your window? There might be snow all over the ground, fair enough, but maybe it's melted a bit right now, I don't know. You might notice leaves all over the ground. And at this point in the year, if you still have leaves on the ground, they're starting to get kind of gross. They're starting to decay and look mushy, right? So dead leaves make up a lot of humus. If you've just mowed the lawn, you might get these little tracts of grass all across your lawn, the cut grass. That's humus. If an animal dies in the wild, there's no one to go and clean that up. Their body will decompose, okay? We'll talk more about the word decompose in the future, but it just means that bacteria and small bugs, and even sometimes bigger animals, eat away at the dead body of different animals so that it is no longer just this dead thing sitting on top of the soil. It decomposes and turns back into soil. This is actually something we see in the Bible. There's a verse about how man started as dust, and to dust he will return. So God took the dust of the ground and breathed life into Adam at the beginning. And when we die, our bodies will decompose back into that dust, into that soil, okay? So this is very normal. So humus is just dead stuff. Okay, the definition is a little fancier than that. The next layer of soil is the top soil. Top, because it is the soil that's on top. Humus goes on the very top. It's sort of annoying, too bad top is not the very top. But, okay, topsoil's next. And topsoil is filled with life, all right? So humus is the dead stuff, which is actually really important, really necessary, but topsoil is where you get things that are alive. We get bugs, we get worms. Oh, worms are fantastic. We'll learn more about that. Bacteria. Especially, we're in a lockdown right now. We're thinking a lot about bacteria and viruses and killing germs. And there is a time and a place for that, and during a pandemic, of course, we need to use hand sanitizer to kill germs. But there is a lot of bacteria in the world that's really good for us. There's bacteria on our skin that's good for us. There's bacteria in our intestines that's really good for us. Science is discovering new things all the time about how our gut bacteria affects everything in our health. It's really exciting and interesting. Soil has its own kind of bacteria. And they're finding out now that the best, most healthy, nutrient-filled plants come from soil that has the most bacteria in it. So bacteria being in the soil is really important. All right, so topsoil is usually very dark. The darker the color of topsoil, the better it is. It is the place where plants can grow really well. So the more topsoil you have in an area, the better it is for growing things. And why do I say that? Because there are areas in the world where we have not treated the soil well, and so the topsoil has washed away, it has blown away, and now there's no topsoil and things can't grow there anymore. This is called desertification. It's where you make a desert out of an area that didn't used to be a desert. A desert is a place where things can't grow. It doesn't have the topsoil. So we have to be careful with our farming practices and other things to make sure we keep that layer of topsoil. It's so crucial. We'll learn more about that too. This is like the introduction to all of the cool things we're gonna learn. All right, the next layer is the subsoil. Sub means under, so it goes under the topsoil, okay? Now the subsoil is not this healthy place where there's all this life, where roots can grow really freely and wonderfully. No. Once you get down into this subsoil, it's a lighter color because it doesn't have the humus, right? Humus, when it decays, it brings a ton of nutrients. We'll keep using that word. And that goes into the topsoil. The subsoil has more gravel in it. It has more rocks, it has less living things, and it has less nutrients. So big one, more nutrients. And subsoil is like just less nutrients. You don't have to write this down exactly, but this makes sense. The farther down into the ground we go, the less nutrients there are, which is fine because most of our plants grow in the topsoil, okay? But that's not the very bottom. Underneath the subsoil, there's one more thing, and that's called bedrock. I feel like all you kids who play, I think it's Minecraft, are like, I know what bedrock is. What's bedrock? I don't know what it is in Minecraft, but you probably do. Bedrock for us is this solid rock that the soil goes on. So if I were to just dig a deep hole, at some point I would get to a place where I can't dig anymore because I'm just at solid rock, all right? When you get to solid rock, you can't keep digging. Even if I had like a giant excavator, I could scrape the rock. I couldn't dig through it. Kind of just a cool thing, people who hunt for gold, gold is usually found right here. It's right on top of the bedrock. So when people are digging for gold, they have to dig through all of this to get all the way down to bedrock. And sometimes it can be quite far down to the bedrock. Just a fun little thing to think about. So, 4 layers of soil. Humus, which is so important, these dead things that are decaying, providing nutrients for the topsoil, where things can grow, on top of the subsoil where things don't really need to grow, so there aren't many nutrients. Finally, it's all resting on top of bedrock. Now, some of you may be saying, what's under the bedrock? Awesome question. If we're gonna like get into layers of the earth, we would get farther down. We'd end up in like magma chambers, but that's not grade 3. Grade 3, we get down to bedrock and we stop. Pretty sure next year you get to start going further down and see what is under the bedrock. But for now, these are our layers of soil. So make sure you have the names on your labels. Also that very short definition that you saw down here at the bottom. And that's your science class for this week. I hope that you guys think this is as interesting as I think it is, because I'm just like, I'm really excited by it. I will see you guys for science next week. Bye.